Welcome to the Fish Blue Water channel, guys. Jamie Bunn here. We're at the in-water side of 2024 Miami International Boat Show. I'm with Jim McGowan, head of marketing for the U.S. here in Raymarine. John Pieri, who is a 34-year captain running Raymarine equipment. And Jim, this is all new for me, right? We're super excited. Raymarine is our new presenting sponsor, official electronic sponsor of our prestigious Quest for the Crest Sailfish series. But Jim, I have been running Simrad for many, many years. I'm super excited. I've got buddies like Art Sapp, Ray Rocher, TJ Ott, the list goes on and on of all these top captains that are running the equipment. So I have zero concerns about what it's capable of, but I've never used it. So
sure.
I want to use this video as a little bit of an opportunity for you to show me some of the basics of Ray and what I have to look forward to. And then John, in a minute here, I'd love to get you on camera so you could talk about your experience up in the Northeast and 30-some years of watching the progression of Ray.
All right, then.
So we're going to get this party started.
So yeah, what's really cool about Raymarine systems, and man, have we got a helm to show it to you on today. So this is a real powerhouse system here. But they're super easy to customize and set it up for the way that you want to see things out on the water. So just as an example, on this screen over here, we have, this is what we call our mode-based icon system. So it gives you very clear indications of what you're going to get when you touch any particular icon on the system.
Okay.
We can also program, pretty much any function to show up on any screen. So for example, we've got our FLIR thermal imager over here. If I want to see the radar over on this side, I just touch the radar icon and boom, there it is. But I can get at any feature anywhere on the network.
Okay. Now these couple of units that I'm looking at, so this is all touchscreen functionality, correct?
These are touchscreen. They're actually what we call a hybrid touch in this setup. So you can do all your touch controls here, but we also have this keypad unit. This is an RMK10.
Okay.
So if it's really rough out, or you got fish guts all over your hands and you don't want to be touching touchscreens, you can run the system off the keypad.
Okay,
unit.
I'm familiar with something like that from previous experiences, obviously, with the Simrad equipment. So that's cool that you have both options.
Yes.
Okay.
So all these icons can be customized really easily. So let's just say, for example, I wanted to change out, and I don't know, maybe I want a different view of my FLIR here. I just do a long press on a tile. I go to customize, and you see we've got this super easy wizard here. So you can choose, what layout of apps do you want to see on the screen? Do you want one app? Do you want two things side by side?
Right.
Three things, in a triple layout. I'll just do a real basic two app. And maybe I want to pick, I want to look at my fish finder, and I'm going to take the side scan, side vision. And then in the other tile over here, I'm going to drop a view of my radar display. And I'm going to hit next. If I want to give it a custom name, you can type it right in, no problem at all, just hit save. And now that tile's ready to use. So as soon as you touch it, it'll pop right up.
Very cool.
You're off and running.
Okay. Just the push of a couple of buttons, and I think it's like anything else, obviously. A little finger memory as you start moving through things, you get familiar with the process, and you can apply that basically to any units depending upon the visual experience that you're looking for, right?
Yes, yeah, and what's
I'm assuming you can preset those based on like preferences and stuff like that.
You can, yeah. So for example, if there's a certain sonar channel you want to see in this window all the time, it remembers that. So you just set it up the way you want it once, and it remembers that the next time you come back. Another thing that's important to know on Raymarine stuff is, like, we've got some big 22-inch screens here. We've got some 9-inch screens down below, but they all operate exactly the same way. So every function that's available on the big ones is available on the small ones too.
Wow.
So it gives you a lot of flexibility when you're planning out a helm.
Well, and I think that speaks also to like the average boater, because this system is phenomenal. But I'm sure you have plenty of guys in that smaller to mid-range center console that they might not be able to afford this, right?
Yep.
But if they can still capture that same experience and that same technology in the smaller screen, with a budget that works for them, I think that's great to be able to accommodate both of those types of customers.
And absolutely can. We have screens starting as small as 7 inches, and then we go all the way up to 24 inches. And you can mix and match any combination of them. Some of them have built-in sonar, so it makes them real easy to install on a small boat. But we also have super high power, standalone chirp sonar modules. So if you want, 1K, 2 kW of power, we got you covered there too.
And if I remember correctly, a lot of your equipment, isn't it being used by like United States Coast Guard government?
It is. Yes, yeah.
Right.
So we're actually the electronic supplier to the U.S. Coast Guard. So their entire small boat fleet is running Raymarine product, Raymarine radar, Axiom MFDs. And what's kind of cool about it is they're actually running the same stuff that recreational boaters are running.
Wow.
Yeah, we've built in some special features for them, but it's really the same hardware that you can get on your own boat.
So here's what I would say to you guys watching this video. Like, if you need a testimonial, if it's good enough for the United States Coast Guard, who protects our borders here on the water, I'm pretty sure it should satisfy the needs of any recreational fisherman, right? So speaking of recreational fishing, let's get John Peary over here on camera. I just met him. I'm already a big fan. Retired school teacher. Both of my parents were school teachers. He spent over 3 decades on the water as a charter boat captain out of the Northeast, and he has got to be a wealth of knowledge. So John's coming up. All right, John. So do you want the good news first or the bad news first?
Always good news.
The good news is you can come fishing with me anytime you want down here.
Excellent.
The bad news is you have no choice but to take me fishing up there
Fair
at some
enough.
point.
Yeah, it's got to be fair.
And we're going to bring this camera along.
Excellent.
Everything you've already told me,
It's pretty fun.
it's happening.
It's pretty fun.
All right, so 34 years, and I know you've experienced a lot. I'm sure you have seen an unbelievable progression with this Raymarine technology over the years. But obviously, we want to keep this video concise for our viewers. So, what's like? You're going way offshore, right? Up
Yes,
in the
sir.
Northeast.
Right.
What are you targeting?
We're chasing school bluefin tuna most days.
Okay.
When it's in season, obviously when they're around.
All right.
We do striped bass inshore, but tuna's what we live for.
Right. So, like, we know that there's a lot of features of this equipment that you use on a regular basis. But
Right.
what would you say, like, day in, day out, like? Let's talk about a couple of the most important features to you.
Sure. I think for us, since we leave the dock well before sunrise most mornings, that for us being able to run safely in the dark is essential. And I think if we didn't have such good radars and such good cameras, there's no way you'd ever feel comfortable doing that. I mean, your biggest fear is a floating log. That's the one thing that's going to be hardest to see.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
And at 3 in the morning, you're not going super fast, but you're probably running 30 knots. You're moving.
Sure.
You got to be really, really careful. And,
Okay.
and I think that's what we worry about. You got a guy sitting here who's dedicated to watching the camera the whole time. I got radar and chart here. Lower screens are using secondary information for us, things like depth and stuff. We don't care about depth right now. We're not worried about temperature. We're running. We're going to a spot.
Right.
And we got 100 miles to go.
Makes perfect sense. So, like, how would you set this up per se? Like, you're leaving the dock at 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure you're offshore to capitalize on that bite or find the schools. Like, how are you going to set these screens up for what you're talking about?
Right. So we're very fortunate that we've got both a open array, 6-foot open array here, right? We also have a Doppler radar up in the top, right? A quantum screen. So we have 2 radars, right? And we can use them for different purposes simultaneously, right? So it's 3 in the morning, I'm leaving, I got both radars spinning for sure, right? Secondary radar is going to be down here. Primary radar is up here. This is going to be doing video for me. So we're going to have video on here. Sorry, wrong way there. So we'll have video on here, and I got one guy who's splitting his vision between this screen and eyes up. This screen, eyes up, right?
Okay.
So my mate or someone I trust is sitting here doing that, right?
Sure.
And I'm sitting here running 2 radars, glancing at a chart to keep an eye on my course, but I don't really need to because it's on my radar anyway. I'm really just staring at radars because these radars are good enough that in Gloucester, lobster pots are everywhere, right? So that's and offshore nets. So we're worried about fishing gear more than anything else, right? That and the old floating logs. But radar will grab all the fishing gear for me. Even just small single pot lobster markers will show up, right?
Wow.
So I can really trust this thing to do a good job, combined with the eyes that I get from my infrared cameras and night vision. And by the way, this is a camera that does optical, what we call optical daylight vision, right? And it does infrared.
Okay.
Almost everybody assumes I got to run infrared because it's 3 in the morning. But what we did, because it's the way our boat's designed, we've got 2 LED light bars under the bow, so I can run them. I get no glare, sort of what I call blowback or glare coming off the boat and ruining my night vision because they're out in front of the boat.
Okay.
All they're doing is picking up lobster pots. I now don't run in infrared a lot. I run in night vision a lot, but I'm using daylight cameras.
You're getting enough
I get enough
illumination.
light from those light bars to run
Wow.
a daylight camera at 3 in the morning.
Okay.
And as much as I love infrared, this is a superior image in terms of differentiating
Oh,
small
of course,
parts, right?
yeah.
So I can have a really, really nice view of a camera, but again, it's eyes here, eyes there, eyes here, eyes there.
Right.
Everyone's scanning, everyone's paying attention, and
Yeah.
But we're running a lot at, you know, dark 30.
Okay.
Because we trust this equipment and because the equipment works so well for
Wow,
us.
some very useful information, and I'm sure as I prepare for either re-rigging the current 39 CV with some new Raymarine product, or we're also on the cusp of making a decision: are we going to build new, possibly a 39, or I may run my first 34 ever.
Right.
I'm going to be grabbing your
Yeah,
number before
I
I
can
leave
help
here
you
today,
fill out
'cause
your dash, you
I'm
know?
probably going to annoy the heck out of you by the time it's all said and done.
That's
just
all right.
to pick your brain left and right.
You're going to find this stuff so intuitive, so logical that, you know, I feel like the definition of really well-made equipment today is stuff that you don't have to open a manual for.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm willing to admit this, that I have boxes of Raymarine manuals and I don't open them. I've never opened them. You can just work your way
Right.
through. It's just like when you get your new phone or you get
Right.
a new software upgrade. It take you a little while to learn the new
Sure.
stuff. This stuff is so intuitive.
Well, that's
it
a
just
testimonial
goes really
to, I
quickly,
think, really well thought out technology for
Exactly.
the user experience.
The user
right?
interface is everything. You know that because honestly, you know, you get something from Amazon. Do you want to read a manual?
Right.
The answer is, of course you don't. And if it's a well-designed product, you don't need the manual
Sure.
because you can work your way through it.
Do you
'cause
see
you're
this guy
in
right here? Hold on a second. I just saw myself. What we got? Is this the?
This is you're on,
YouTube
you're
channel.
on
That's
YouTube.
right. Jim threw it up on the screen. I'd
There you
almost
go.
forgotten. Also super cool. Shameless plug. If you're not subscribed to us, you should be subscribed to us. And we're sitting here on one of 6 screens that he's got on this dash, where you can also enjoy some entertainment. You may even consider adding a little Starlink technology. Network Innovations, one of our partners, another shameless plug. On a boat like this, you could be offshore 40 miles streaming high definition, you know, through these screens while you're enjoying a fishing day with John catching schoolie sized bluefin tunas. Yes, me, that doesn't suck. So hope you enjoyed this video. There's more where this came from. Hit that subscribe button, check the notification box to be the first to know when these videos are coming live. We'll see you for the next Fish Blue Water video.